Alright, welcome back to Modern Mondays here at Guardian Games in Portland, Oregon. We are here covering a 4-round Modern event that has 36 players. I am Quen Walebski, and I'm here with
Eric Savilich.
And we have two undefeated players right now. We have Chris Wamsley on the left playing 4-color Death Shadow, which is like a really similar to a really old Death Shadow deck that used to play like Git Probe and like Become Immense. So it still has all those pieces without Gitaxian Probe versus Zenon Martin, who's playing Counters Company, which is like the Devoted Druid infinite mana combo deck.
Also, Christopher Walmsley is 2 Planeswalker points for a GP buy, and if he wins this, he gets a GP buy for the next couple GPs that are in this cycle.
I think it's for a whole year.
I thought it was half-year cycles. Is it not, or is it a full year?
I believe it's a full year cycle for the one buy. I think it goes. I'm not entirely sure though. Anyway, Chris taking Mulligan to 6. Looks like a much better 6. Nope, Mulligan.
I think you should have kept the 7. The 7 was kind of weak though.
So Chris Mulligan to 5. Doesn't bode well for this deck. It has a lot of needs a lot of gas in order to sort of get there. Although it can kill people with Tarmogoyf on turn like 3 with a TBR. And so it looks like Chris has Death Shadow, Tarmogoyf, 2 lands, and I think it's a Bolt, but I'm not sure.
Looks like a Bolt to me.
It's in a foreign language.
I wonder if the birds are going to get bolted here, as the old axiom goes.
Oh, it absolutely is a Bolt. So he didn't bolt the bird, and instead is deciding to fetch. Fetching with this deck is actually incredibly hard. It's one of the most difficult parts about playing the 4-color Death Shadow deck, that and like making sure you double the right things for your Tarmogoyf with your Become Immense. But mostly fetching, because like it plays so many colors, you just need to be able to know like, if I draw this, what would I like to have? So you have to like think about, oh, what are all the possible draws, and make sure you're fetching the appropriate colors.
Looks
and
like
appropriate combinations of colors.
Yeah.
Turn 2 Tireless Tracker coming down for Zenon.
Looks like a possible turn 4 Collected Company. Going to be Zenon's next turn play.
So Tarmogoyf coming in for 3. Zenon down to 17. And Chris is going to fetch down to probably 12.
Get that Death Shadow online as soon as possible.
The sweet 1/1.
Play 1/1 Death Shadow.
Yep.
Tarmogoyf currently a 3/4 Death Shadow 1/1, but both of those creatures can grow to be immense monsters.
One could even say they
Become immense.
Exactly. So Zenon playing, I guess, all basics.
Playing around back to basics and Rite of Progress.
Modern Horizons, man.
It's obvious that's happening.
It's coming.
Don't think anything.
Hitting some lands and
lot of
things that look
lands.
like lands to
Lands,
me.
you just hit Noble Hierarch and like, that's a lot of ramp. Yeah. Looks like an Ultimate Masters printing of Devoted Druid. That card got some new art. I actually am pretty partial to the new art of this card than the old art. Ultimate Masters was actually like a pretty insanely good set. It had a lot of really good cards in it.
Right. I'm pretty sure that was the point of that set, was to be as broken as humanly possible, to bring some fresh drafting and sealed experience. Sealed experience was actually, in my personal opinion, quite terrible with this set, as there's so many synergies, rares relying on other rares being in your same pool.
Sure.
Which made the experience a little worse, but drafting that set is incredibly fun.
You can play like Madness with Root Walla.
Of course.
That's all I would
Yeah,
play.
Mad Prophet,
Yeah.
Fiery Temper, Root Walla, and
Faithless Looting.
Rampaging Worm, which is a absolute beast. Play that instant speed with the 3-mana Faithless Looting that untaps your lands in blue.
I know what card you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it. So it looks like Zenon's going to shock in an Overgrown Tomb to cast a Scavenging Ooze, which threatens to shrink this Tarmogoyf significantly, especially because he has essentially access to, what, 5 mana? 4 mana?
9.
It does threaten the Death Shadow as well. If Chris isn't able to damage himself further, the Tarmogoyf will easily be a stone wall for this Death Shadow.
The Scavenging Ooze, yeah.
Yes, the Scavenging Ooze will be a stone wall against the Death Shadow.
Yeah. So Chris drew a TBR and has a land. So he's going to go to 7. So this Death Shadow is
5/5.
no, 6/6.
6/6.
Yeah. So Chris attacking with a 3/4 and a 6/6. Zenon going to... He could block with the Scoos and then like eat some stuff in response so he doesn't just like die to TBR.
It's very possible that he just puts the Scoos in front of Tarmogoyf here and eats a couple creatures.
Sure.
Do it again. Tracker.
Sure, 14.
So the timer goes down to a 2/3.
Do it again on Bolt. And do it again on Coco.
Sure.
So Scoos will be a 4/4. I'll go to 14.
Yep.
Goyf is now a 1/2.
1, 2 currently.
4 indicating the power
Power
and
and
toughness,
toughness,
and
yeah.
not the number of counters on Scavenging Ooze.
So he's gonna die to a TBR.
Super Federation.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, no, he's a
that
14,
hits
he
him
goes to
down
2.
to 2.
Sure.
Your turn.
So he's at
Unfortunately, he has no way to trample over the flood of creatures Zenon's about to have with Eternal Witness and another Collected Company, if I'm not mistaken. Also a Duskwatch Recruiter in hand.
Cannot shock the Temple Garden into play. He will die.
Well, he definitely can.
He can, yeah, it is a legal game action.
He does not have Collected Company in hand.
I think he has Duskwatch Recruiter and something else. I didn't see. what
Eternal
it was.
Witness.
Yeah. Is the other card another
Devoted Druid.
Yeah. So Chris is empty-handed, and at 7. So I don't particularly like doing this main phase. I guess if he finds a Vizier, he
Which
just
he
wins on the spot.
does.
Untap it, tap it.
Yeah. Chris not even gonna make him show him the Ballista.
Well, you can infinitely search with Duskwatch Recruiter to find it.
Yeah, but I mean that's like ad nauseam your deck and your opponent just not
Oh,
having 10
sure.
souls or
That's a pretty strong.
I feel like
Pretty good mold
the chances that he doesn't have his win condition in his deck is
Still felt the need.
fairly low,
Fairly
but
low.
possible.
Well, sometimes they like, not always. It's like really uncommon, but sometimes they like will only have Shalai or
Sure.
only have Ballista. But I like to like make them show me their entire deck or show me every card that they're gonna choose off of it before.
It's a good incremental advantage.
It's just good information to have it like,
Yeah,
especially so it's not super relevant against this deck because this deck plays like Ballista is pretty much the main win condition and like Shalai is like a backup win condition.
But I really wanted
But
to block
decks like
What'd you want me to block?
Ad Nauseam can have different win conditions. If you can have like
Right.
Lightning Storm, which is
Lightning bolt or like
Or
Try.
Maniac.
yeah,
finding
Laptrine
a Vizier in your
Maniac.
decks, like, pretty redundant in doing so. So I'm just like trying to end the game as quickly as possible, I think.
That's fair.
Or other cards sometimes, I don't know. It's just like good habits to have. So for sideboarding, looks like Chris is going to bring in 2 Hooting Mandrills and take out probably his Becomamences.
Becoming Immense a little bit less good because a bunch of small creatures are able to chump block whatever Chris
Yeah.
may have as a threat all day.
And you don't, and like maybe you don't have the TBR, so you can't give it trample.
Yeah,
You like
I'll
need
stop
something that
playing
just
Magic.
inherently has trample to get your damage through.
Pretty good.
Right.
For
It does look like he's
Hopefully on Monday.
Cutting.
keeping one Become Immense in there.
So what were the cards you cut? I saw a red card get cut. Was it a TBR or Swift Spears? TBR, all the Swift Spears, and a Bobble.
Yeah.
He might have left a Swift Spear in.
Looks like he left the bauble. Or might. Oh, looks like some pushes are getting sideboarded in.
Looks like it was Fatal Push, Mandrill, for sideboarding. I didn't see what Zenon was doing. I was mostly paying attention to what Chris was doing. So it looks like Zenon cut a lot of his value spells.
Slower, expensive.
Yeah, he's just trying to move away from the combo into like more of a mid-rangey strategy.
Speed is definitely a big factor against the 4-color Death Shadow deck, as they are easily able to pressure your life total in the early turns of the game. Value spells, albeit great if you're able to cast them, too many can be fatal against a quick deck such as Death Shadow.
Yeah, you just die with like 6 cards in your hand. You're like, cool, I guess we played Magic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cryptic Command is a great card unless you have 4 in hand,
Yeah, definitely.
for example.
Well,
Or if you don't want to live till turn 4. Which
Correct.
the Death Shadow deck is definitely capable of killing you before.
Definitely.
I love Become Immense. Like, I think that card is so good.
It's alright.
Although if you're ever able to pair Become Immense with a Battle Rage, it is devastating.
Pretty disgusting, yeah.
Well, okay. Now,
However,
I would
not super likely,
I'll gladly take
because that means the game has gone a little bit longer than you want it to as the Death Shadow player.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know, dude. If it's too good in Legacy.
Well, you can cast the TBR first, and then as long as your creature has like sufficient power toughness, and then delve it away with Become Immense.
Yeah.
Very true.
The thing was that gave you it's a free.
So you could
spell,
do it
so
a
it's
little
like
bit
2
earlier. You
mana
still
or
would need
2
3
draw
lands,
card.
but
I think that'd be fine, right? But the thing that it gave you free information, be like, can I go? Can I not go? You know.
I think it was more busted in Delver than anything else. But yeah, I do agree that it was a good
players talking about the big banning of Gitaxian Probe. Because this 4-color Death Shadow deck really popped up as a 5-color Death Shadow deck.
Right.
Well, kind of. I mean,
Blue
you
being
count.
the life and or blue
Yes.
5th color.
The top deck
It's
Yep.
really a 6-color deck where the 6th color is your life total.
Yeah. I believe Brad Nelson was the man who popularized that deck a few years ago. Yeah, Gitaxian Probe, banned, restricted, or you can play it as a 4-of in Pauper.
I will as well.
So sad.
Same with Gush. Banned, restricted, or you can play it as a 4-of with Pauper.
Pauper, obviously the superior format for broken blue common spells.
You want to play some broken Delver cards, you can play some Pauper, man. So, you got Gush, Foil, Preordain, Ponder.
Right. Favorite deck in Pauper, probably not the best one, is the Kiln Fiend, blue-red Kiln Fiend deck.
Oh yeah, with like not Thermal Alchemist,
The Defender 1/4
yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him unblockable, hack away.
So it looks like Chris had turn 1 Wild Nacatl,
14.
and I would expect him to get white-black here.
Just love. I don't know.
That would make sense, as it's the
Yeah.
other 2 colors he is missing.
I think it's
And
kind
it
of a
also
weird
turns
spot
his
right now.
Nacatl
It is
into
a
a
horrible start right now.
3/3.
I think everything is a mess.
So
Legacy's kind of like.
1 mana 3/3. Arguably more powerful than a 4 mana 7/7 even.
hey man,
12 and draw a card.
it was a bannable offense at one point. It was
It
just
was.
too powerful. It just turned all the aggro decks into Nacatl decks.
It's true.
Thought's on the 10.
Oh,
Path in response, then it looked like he was gonna fetch shock, so he's gonna go 17.
so we'll go 17.
Wow, Chris is really low already.
Thoughtseize resolves.
Knight of the Reliquary, Kitchen Finks, Court of Calling, second Kitchen Finks, 2 lands.
Yikes. I think he likely takes one of the 2 Kitchen Finks here. Those are pretty backbreaking against Death Shadow's plan of attack.
Yeah.
Another Nacatl in hand. It's not the hand that Chris wanted to see.
Huh.
Siding in the Kitchen Finks, probably some out of the sideboard in lieu of the Collected Companies and the other more expensive mid-range spells.
We'll take a kitchen fix.
So yeah, you're right. He did take Kitchen Finks and cast his second Nacatl. Do you think there's any argument for taking Knight there instead of Kitchen Finks?
No. Knight, more than likely, when he casts it, could be killed. We did see that he's hidden in Fatal Pushes. He has a Bolt in hand. If
Sure.
another fetch land was not drawn, Knight would have been boltable when it was played.
Well, he had the other fetch land in hand, right? He showed it off.
Oh
the
yes,
box.
you
He drew-
are correct.
I think he drew the bird this turn. But I mean, Kitchen Finks is like resilient and it's gonna kill all your creatures because they're all like X3s or whatever.
Right.
Plus your opponent gaining life is like really bad for you.
9. Go to 8.
Chris become immense.
Going down to 8 on Zenon's side.
End step, I'll go to
I believe Chris has another become immense and a TBR.
He has a Bolt in hand, if
Oh.
I'm not mistaken, is the red card.
I think that's what I missed. So he has Bolt and another become immense.
Making it very difficult for Zenon to tap out. However, he's likely just going to play this Plains and a Kitchen Finks to go up to 9 and have a very resilient blocker that will be able to trade with Wild Nacatl.
So yeah, like second become immense is pretty awkward since he had to use all of his graveyard delve for the first become immense. I'm a little surprised that he brought in more delve spells without cutting some, just because this deck doesn't have like Thought Scour or anything like that to totally like turbo out your graveyard. Most of the time you're just playing like burn spells and stuff.
Right.
So you go.
Another reason why this deck, Death Shadow, really misses Cataxian Probe, as it digs you deeper and fuels your graveyard and fuels your Death Shadow.
Yeah, and gives you information. It's just
Yeah.
all upside. So it looks like Chris drew Tarmogoyf, which is a
4.
3/4. Become Immense and Path to Exile are both instants.
Oh, yes, you're right.
And he doesn't have a sorcery in hand. So, if Zenon's at 9, and Chris casts a 3/4 Tarmogoyf, he has a 3/3. So he's 3/3/3s. So,
Well, while not an optimal play, you can always attack with Death Shadow and have the threat of activation and or if worse comes to worse, bolt yourself. Which
I
Chris
like-
opts not doing.
I like the conservative, just like leave everybody back, because if he comes in with the Kitchen Finks, like, you're just gonna kill him the next turn. So the Kitchen Finks is pretty much like forced into blocking.
Cataxian Probe is banned in Modern. We were reminiscing about the good old days.
Land.
Yeah, it's also restricted in Vintage, which is what we were talking about. And
Banned in
restricted.
Modern and banned in Legacy. Makes
Yeah.
me cry.
it was legal in Legacy until like 6 months ago. It and Deathrite Shaman got banned at the same time, which honestly I think is perfectly reasonable. Deathrite Shaman it skewed all the decks to being like any mid-range aggro deck is just a just became a Deathrite Shaman deck.
Vizier is coming down, threatening a eventual Court of Calling into Devoted Druid.
Also, this Kitchen Finks is just never ever going to die.
Sorry.
Zenon showing his
Cord-
Tireless Tracker.
Cord for 1.
Could be the... What could this be?
The Saraseer,
Ah,
and then he gains infinite life in response.
Roll Flamat 9.
it's a fairly powerful game plan. Infinite Life is proven to be powerful against 4-color Death Shadow.
Yeah. So this is just
We'll
to
attempt to stack kitchen pigs.
Chris Walmsley now on the mill game plan.
Game 2 life.
now Chris is gonna scoop him up.
Combo. So bad.
An unfortunate loss for our GP by hopeful. However, he still has one more round left. We still have 24 minutes left in the round.
We can go look to get another match for sure. Also, great play by Zenon. Sort of, I felt like he really sequenced his
Pretty
Right.
correctly.
He didn't rush the infinite life combo.
No, he just waited until until there was an opening where Chris tapped out, and he had the cord for one. He just like went off in response.
Definitely the smart play.
Yeah, definitely very good. All right, so it looks like we're gonna go try to get another match. We will be back in just a few minutes.